Can we also fill in this row? Can you get all the people upstairs to come down? Yes. What's the problem? Colleagues, can we come also fill in this row? Can we have the music stop, please, at the DJ? Guys, on this row, I'm going to ask you to go join there. I don't want people behind here. Thank you very much. And sit next to someone you've never seen in your life. I don't want people behind these learners. Can we all join? Can we all join? That side, at the front. Thank you very much. Can we join? I don't want people in this queue. Can you? One, two. Apparently we have an echo. I hear myself when I speak. Okay. We have not started, and I'm just that guy who comes to waste time before the official program starts. Do I have a learner who knows how to sing a nice song we can all sing? Where are those learners who like to sing the guichos? Just sing a young guicho so it can be nice. Let's give her a round of applause. She's going to do it.
Nkosi sikelela iAfrika maluphanganiso uphanganiso phonolayo iza imithanda
Guys, this is an RCL event, and I was an RCL 20 years ago. Can you act like you are young people? Or else let's close and go home, go back to class. Can I have young people?
Phone
Ngicela amanye futhi lapha phezulu. Ngizomthatha manje, thatha manje, ngiyohlala ngikuthanda, wena wedwa, wena wedwa. Shata manje, tata manje, iyohlala ngikuthanda, wena wedwa, wena wedwa. Ewana bastrada banalimatat, ewana bastrada banalimatat, ewana bastrada banalimatat, ewana bastrada banalimatat. Iyohlala ngikuthanda, wena wedwa, wena wedwa. Aye uzongithola uloba ngizincengela idola, impilo intokozo isidingo, iyohlala ngikuthanda, wena wedwa, wena wedwa. Ewana bastrada banalimatat, ewa strada banalimatat, ewa strada banalimatat, ewa strada banalimatat.
Well, let's give them a round of applause. Okay, are you ready to start now? Can I call the MC? Let's greet her with the song. RCL Dumela, Dume. RCL Dumela, Dumela. Yo, Dumela, Dumela. Yo, RCL Dumela. RCL Dumela. RCL Dumela. Dumela. Dumela.
RCL Dumela, RCL Dumela, RCL Dumela, Dumela, yo, RCL Dumela, RCL Dumela, RCL Dumela, hey, 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 yo. RCL Dumela, RCL Dumela, RCL Dumela, Dumela yo, RCL Dumela, RCL Dumela, RCL Dumela, Dumela yo, Dumela. Round of applause. Hey, I was worried to speak straight after those beautiful songs because as you can tell, I sound like my brother today because of a flu, but nothing will deter us from the work of today. Please give yourselves a round of applause. Hashtag Asifuni, hashtag. Hashtag Asifuni, hashtag. Hashtag Asifuni violence in our schools, hashtag. Hashtag Asifuni bullying in our schools, hashtag. Hashtag Asifuni gender-based violence in our schools, hashtag. Wonderful, that's why we are here today. Ladies and gentlemen, learners, a very warm welcome to you to the hashtag Asifuni Intergenerational Dialogue that is spearheaded by, as you can see from this very energetic room, young learners, school pupils from across the province, from across the country as well. But none of this would be happening without the support of the Department of Basic Education, by the support and the resilience, of course, of GIZ, by the Agape Youth Movement. Also in attendance, I saw the Popo dancing. The Popo, as my young 2-year-old child would say. The police who are in attendance today. We are so honored to present this dialogue to you because it's an important one. In as much as we deal with issues and grapple with issues of gender-based violence in our country, one thing that we should know is that it predominantly plays out in our schools, because schools are microcosms of our society. They are a reflection of what we deal with on a daily basis, not only in our country, South Africa, but across the world. So today, I would like you to please stand up and remember the young women, young men who are affected, who were murdered, who were subjected to violence in the hands of perpetrators, not only in schools, but in our communities as well. Do not forget why you are here today. Everyone that is in attendance can make a very important decision to take it upon themselves to put an end to gender-based violence. And so one thing that I would like to just do today is encourage you to open up your hearts and share with us your experiences and share with us your challenges, but most importantly, to share with us what you think the solutions are. So over and above, of course, acknowledging the key players and the important sponsors who are here today, I'd like to introduce myself. Igama lami Busisiwe Gumede Chijanje, and I have braved the flu to spend time with you guys today, but we cannot do anything without just acknowledging and singing the national anthem. So would you please be on your feet? And we will sing our national anthem, followed by the AU anthem as well. All right, we'll start with the South African anthem. Waiting for music to cue, but I think it'll be us singing. Nkosi siyeleli Afrika. Izwa imithandazo yethu Nkosi lelathi. Maluphakanyiswa uphondo lwayo. very much. And that would be followed by the AU anthem. Any takers? Bear with us. Never in the history of my emceeing has that happened, but we will not be deterred. With that said, I'd like to open up this very important conversation. Please take a seat. This very important conversation and dialogue. Also quite grateful to the educators of this facility of the school, the principal, the RCL members who are here, who are in attendance, who have welcomed us so beautifully. We appreciate you. The School of Youthland who have welcomed us so well today. I hope I'm saying that well. I did say and warn a couple of people that I'll probably butcher it. I got 50% on the dot for Afrikaans. That was my lowest mark, but we made it still. All right. No, you can't clap for 50%, but we still made it. All right. With that said, I'd like to welcome the RCL president of the school, Mia Wu, who is going to welcome us and let us know what her hopes are for today. A round of applause.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great joy and deep gratitude that I stand before you today to extend a warm welcome to the ministries, executives, and companies involved in today's launch, as well as the fellow RCL members. Your presence here is a true honor, and we are delighted to host this event at Hoërskool Jeugland. Thank you.
Mia was talking to me earlier on, and she was saying, you know, I'm a little nervous. What must I do? Please advise me. And I said, maybe you should crack a joke. And she said, knock, knock, who's there? I guess it's Mia Wu. She didn't go with it, but it was totally her joke, but she didn't go with it. That was pretty much great. Thank you so much, Mia. Round of applause for her. Just like learning and education is important in our communities, it's important for us to reflect on what we can do with the very little resources that we have as learners in your perspective to make a difference in your community. If you know that there is abuse happening, for example, in your class, you don't turn your back. You get part of a system that is designed to put an end to such incidences. Turning a blind eye to such incidences perpetuates the problem. I'm sure you agree. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you'd have to be part of the SAPS to make a difference. But with that said, I'd like to bring onto the podium Liko Bottoman, who is the director that is responsible for Social Cohesion and Equity in Education from the Department of Basic Education. I've had the honor of meeting Liko and hearing him speak on various platforms. He's very passionate. This is a man who is involved not only at a higher level at basic education, but most importantly on the ground. And so we're very thankful to have you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. The funny thing is that every time we work together, you've got flu. We were shooting some television program together and you had flu then. We needed to get some wet towels on her back when they say cut, then they would put wet towels. She also had like an electronic fan with her. And here she is again. And I know that I'm gonna get sick because of her. But anyway, I really would like to thank our partners, GIZ, Agape Youth Movement, the NECT, the school, the provincial education departments, the districts, and really the young people, the representative councils of learners, for joining us on this vision and mission of really stomping out school-related gender-based violence. We never thought that would be where we are as a sector when it comes to these issues, because it is our belief as the Department of Basic Education that schools protect the health and well-being of children. And so as we work with the South African Police Service to ensure that schools become safe and inclusive centers of learning, care and support, it becomes difficult for us to address issues of prevention as well as post-violence care. And so we are taking a new approach and we're turning a new leaf as government, working with the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities and the South African Police Service to look at how we can ensure that children actually do become safe in schools and that our schools are safe and inclusive centers. Now we know that violence is not something that is promoted in schools. We know that violence is brought into schools by children who come from violent households and communities. And so it means then that what we have been doing in trying to address violence only as the Department of Basic Education in schools has not been yielding to any good or effective results. In fact, our partners in the South African Police Service are saying to us that we need to address the issue of violence from the root cause. We need to ensure that we work with community stakeholders and community assets for us to be able to protect children from early or premature exposure to violence. Because studies have shown us that a child who is exposed to violence from a young age is likely to be a perpetrator of violence themselves. And so it is therefore important that we prevent early exposure to violence by ensuring that we teach each other on how best to bring up our children through proper parenting programs in our schools and communities. The second thing that we need to understand is that there is power in government to convene stakeholders so that stakeholders do what they are supposed to do to address issues of violence in our schools. There is also power in the agency of young people to put themselves strategically forward as the strength that we need as a sector for us to be able to do this. Because most times, the learner-on-learner violence is probably the most prominent violence that you see in our schools. Yes, we see some teacher-to-learner violence, and we see some learner-to-teacher violence, but at most, it is learner-on-learner violence. And so we also then need to be able to drive work that allows us to ensure that we promote respect for people's dignity, Because if you've got respect for people's dignity, you won't even think twice about, inflicting pain and harm and violence at that person. Also, we understand that many of the violent attacks that happen in school are as a result of young people not understanding issues around diversity. Meaning that now children become intolerant and they become prejudiced towards one another because they don't understand the fact that people come from different backgrounds and people come with different diverse identities when they come to school. And so then issues of bullying then begin to happen at that time, and then they erupt into a violent attack. Now, I have a daughter, and my daughter is 10 years old, and she's living with albinism. I worry every day that she may one day get into an environment where people don't understand albinism, and she may be bullied for it. And so I do everything in my power to help her understand what bullyism is, but to also help her understand what society thinks about people like her who have got or who are living with albinism, so that she's got the tools that she needs so that she's able to protect herself. Now, I know that many of our partners that work with us in child protection are saying that we are placing too much responsibility on children by saying that they need to protect themselves. But we know that there is value in making children aware so that they can protect themselves. Because we see this, and we know that with leadership like yourselves, Madam President, we will be able to do this. So that it's not just a chant, it's not just a slogan to say that asifuni, that even in our actions, in our day-to-day living in schools, we really are demonstrating or portraying the behavior and the attitudes and the mindsets of people who really are saying that asifuni GBV in our schools. In the end, we want our schools to be safe and caring and inclusive spaces of learning for all children in their diversity. And it is up to us to make that possible. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Driving there the importance of playing a part. Everybody who is here, everyone has it in them to make a change, to report cases, to alert educators, the teachers, to alert the police in their communities about any violence that they witness. And so we thank Uliko Bottoman, who is the director responsible for social cohesion and equity in education. That is at the Department of Basic Education. Thank you so much for that message. Violence is a reality, a daily reality that so many of us live. And because it's so entrenched in our homes, in our communities, it's something that is very hard to root out. And so where does it start? It starts with education, and that's why we're here today. It starts with making a difference and taking a stand as well as an individual that you will not tolerate it, but also advocacy, going out and sharing the message that you learned today with others that you will meet. You don't have to be part of the Agape movement, for example, the Agape youth movement, for example, to feel like you are of authority to spread the message. You being here means that you are here and put on here for a purpose of hearing, of learning, but most importantly, sharing with others. And another individual who is doing exactly that is Umtutuzi Mazubuko, who is the Gauteng Junior Commissioner working very closely with the police. Now, Uluko has spoken about the partnership that the Department of Basic Education has with the South African Police Service. Of course, every case that is out there and that is reported to the SAPS. But it's very important to sort of bridge that gap, right? To have almost like an RCL of learners, but on the side of the police. Bridging the gap between you as learners as well as the SAPS. It's one thing to complain, and we hear it often in the news, that the police are not doing anything about the violence that we witness and that we experience in our world. But it's another if we do not go out and report it. And so reporting is also part of the plan. Reporting is as important. And so I'd like to call upon Mduduzi to come up to the podium and share with us some of the lessons that he has learned dealing with learners and facilitating that relationship between learners and the police, some of the challenges that he and his team experience, but also what next going forward. Is Mduduzi here? There he is. But to give Mduduzi a police uniform, he needs a police uniform as well. I'm Mduduzi. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Sure.
Right, so before I speak, I'd first like to thank all the speakers and speeches before me, right? Powerful words, and it's information that, to the speakers, rest assured, we all took notes and we all heard what you said, right? Everything and every single thing said today won't just go to waste. We will use it and implement. So I'd just like to say thank you, and could you please give a round of applause to the speakers before me, please? Right, my name is Mduduzi Maziboko, and I'm Gauteng's Provincial Junior Commissioner. And beside me, we have...
I am Duruzile Mkwena, the Junior District Commissioner for the Sidibeng region.
Ladies and gentlemen, standing before you is Nhlanhla Mngoni, the Deputy Provincial Junior Commissioner of Gauteng. I thank you.
Right? And we're all gathered here for one goal, to ensure school safety in our province, and of course, to ensure that schools are conducive to learning by removing harmful events like bullying, right? Vandalism, and of course, the topic of today being violence. So, we plan on doing that by two means: combating all those harmful forces and the things going on in our schools, and of course, through education, because education is power. And I'd like to lend a quote from Nelson Mandela when he said, "Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world." Right? Exactly. So as a junior commissioner, I am deeply honored to lend my voice of support in such an important endeavor, the Gender-Based Violence and Femicide Prevention Program, right? And this initiative is a crucial first step to one of the most pervasive social crises we have in our generation and in the world that we live in today, right? So, however, to combat GBV, or gender-based violence and femicide, we need only one key thing. And that's collaboration and working together. So let's unite. Let's stand together to eradicate gender-based violence and femicide in our society today. Not just for us, but for our future generation. Let's make the world a better place. And by working together, we won't just promise this, we can ensure this reality, right? So, I have a favor to ask. We're going to say our hashtag motto and what we stand for, and of course, we would appreciate if you repeat that back to us, right? So together, we say, hashtag Kuzoba Safe as Gela. Safe as Gela. One more time.
Hashtag Kuzoba Safe as Gela.
Hashtag Kuzoba Safe as Gela. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mduduzi. Thank you so much. It's really great to see individuals like Mduduzi very passionate about safety in schools. And I'd like to open up just to members of our audience and ask a very critical question. And I would like you to be very honest about it, right? My question to you is, have you in the past 6 months experienced or even witnessed violence in your schools? And you don't have to mention names. It doesn't have to be about you. Whether it's something that you heard in the news and that is troubling you, and you thought, I could have done something. Please raise your hand. And I think that for us will set the tone for the kind of conversation that we will have a little bit later on in the panel discussion. I saw a hand here somewhere. There we go. Please stand up, introduce yourself, and tell us your experience.
Again, I am Jerusalem Kwena from the prestigious institution, New Hope Secondary School, representing the Sidibeng East, and I'm also the Junior District Commissioner for Sidibeng. My experience, I've witnessed students being involved in this gender-based violence. We have pupils who are dating at school, and this guy hits his girlfriend. And now what do we do? Because we try to help as representatives of the school. But what do we do when the victim tells us that we shouldn't do anything? Because if we act and help, they'll commit suicide. So that's yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you for your bravery in standing up. I think it shows just how tricky it is to be a representative of learners, to be a leader among learners, because on one hand, you don't want to be a sellout and, report it to the elders or to the authorities because of people involved, right? But at the same time, you're also dealing with something else on your right, and that is you knowing that somebody's life could be in danger, And so how do you balance the scales? That is something that I'm looking forward to putting to either the police or even the Department of Basic Education, the authorities there, and hearing what they have to say about that. So all these questions we'll definitely be putting to the members who will be part of the panel. Please introduce yourself and your question or your comment.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kagiso Gatle, the provincial chairperson of Mpumalanga province. My experience regards with violence, I think it's a day before yesterday. There was a video circulating on social media whereby one of my schoolmates was fighting with another schoolmate of another school. So the question is, what do we do if that violence is at the external point? It's not inside the school. That's the question that I want to raise. But the funny thing is that they were still wearing uniform and they were girls. So we can relate it with violence. But what do we do when it's outside the school environment? Is it our responsibility or is it the parents' responsibility? That's the question that I have, and which I couldn't act towards this case because it was at the external. Thank you.
Very prevalent question to ask, because in as much as it happens off-site or off-school premises, everything is related and connected, as Liko said. What happens in our homes spills over to our schools, and do we necessarily turn a blind eye because it's not happening on our school grounds?
Good day. My name is Tendo. I am a leader in Yachland. I have a question. So we, as leaders in the school, in our separate schools, we witness fighting and violence happening. But like we as leaders, they can come to us and ask us what's happening. But we'll be labeled as a snitch. So how do we as leaders create an environment where we can open up to like educators, higher power positions, to tell them what is happening so that they can be able to solve that issue? That's my question.
And it speaks to the stickiness and the awkwardness that is associated with being a student leader. Like I said, you don't want to be labeled as a snitch, impi, someone who is not for learners because you're highlighting something wrong and something bad that is happening in your school. So over the years, there have been various mechanisms to sort of protect student leaders. For example, there'll be anonymous boxes where, letters can be written and pupils can sort of write a report and stick it in there anonymously, right? You are at least solving the problem by reporting it, but also leaving it to the powers that be to sort of solve it. Please get this conversation going as well on social media. We are live streaming on YouTube, on the Agape Youth Movement YouTube page. So take pictures, post about it, let your friends know that we are having an important conversation. I'm gonna go back again to the commissioner. Was it you?
So, again, to you, leader, right? Hello there. Tendo, ne? Tendo, right. Very powerful question, right? It's actually very serious. For whereas you want to help someone, but sometimes you might be labeled as a snitch or there are repercussions to trying to help, right? And as a leader, you can't just let violence subside or just let it happen in front of you, right? So for that, we have at least one huge measure towards that. First of all, try and make it not in a sense compulsory, but try and open the platform for people to address their issues, right? Don't force them to. Of course, you're a leader that can come to you personally, but sometimes you just need that extra confirmation. So maybe, in a sense, have, let's say, a period on a Friday afternoon or something like that, where whoever has an issue or recommendations on the school can just really just come to you, right? And of course, the anonymous box is a powerful suggestion, because it works, but make sure that everyone in the school is aware of that and that they can use that to their advantage. That's one of the answers we have for that question.
But also quite tricky is the advent of social media, or the element of social media, right? Which was raised by one of the learners there. Is that what do we do when something is trending? We're living in a world of TikTok, Instagram, X, where information and content is shared, sometimes very harmful, especially for victims. Day in and day out, we see content of school pupils either fighting or a bullying incident, right? And when you scroll down to the comments, some of the things that you see there are really, really worrying, right? Because it's less about the incident of violence that has happened in school or that is unfolding in school, but mostly about, who got beat up, right? Or people laughing at it. And so the element of social media as well is sort of changing the dynamics, because it adds another layer of embarrassment, not only for the victim, but other parties involved as well. How detrimental is that? How does that affect the people? And even the educators or the school at large that is involved. I saw her hand here as well. So social media is something else that we will tackle.
Good morning. My name is Mbala Ntle Dlamini, representing Mondio Police Station, a junior police commissioner, and together with my team. So in adding on to the conversation of how do we as student leaders engage with the matter without being seen as a snitch. So we think that the way that you can do this, and this is something we have been introducing within our schools, is we have something called a venting box system. So what we do, or what happens with the venting box, is that individuals are able to put in their problems without them being known, or without them being, people being able to say, no, but Mbali is the one who told. So this is because a lot of the times there are a lot of problems, but people don't don't know or it is not heard. Another thing that we can do as student leaders, or something that can be done in schools, is to make sure that you have things such as a helpline. So one thing that we have done as the team is to go to schools and also, promote having a helpline. Because at the end of the day, one of the reasons why students, go to external, become an abuser, become a bully, is because they don't know how to deal with their emotions. A lot of the times it stems from internally. So if they don't have an outlet where they're going to go because they're afraid of being snitches. So we have 2 solutions that we'd like to also share with you guys. We've seen it help is 1, a venting box system, and 2, ensuring that schools actually have a helpline. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to facilitating that conversation. These are just but the few questions, comments, as well as concerns that are coming from young people, from pupils who are in attendance here with us physically. We are also online. We are streaming this event as well, and I am of course acknowledging those delegates who are joining us online, student representatives from across the country, as well as officials. Please get that hashtag going online, whatever that sticks out to you. Do quote us, hashtag Asifuni on X, on Facebook, or whichever platform of your choice. We've heard a lot, right, about this hashtag Asifuni initiative and project, but what exactly is it? Ivela kuphi? What is its impact and what is its motive? I think it's time for us to learn a little bit more about the project through a video that has been put together by the team to make us learn more about its outcomes. Doo-doo-dun.
Pioneering program aimed at empowering the spanning across provinces of South Africa. And countless adolescents, our mission is through activation workshops of learner leaders, school-based information sharing sessions, intergenerational dialogues, and learning materials and platforms. We're building awareness and capacity to influence positive social behavior change in our adolescents, to tackle gender-based violence and advocate for sexual and reproductive health rights. Aligned with national and international conventions, this program is a beacon of hope.
As the Department of Basic Education, we collaborate with a number of stakeholders. The purpose of our collaboration is to ensure that we empower our learners around sexual reproductive health and rights, as well as school-related gender-based violence. Hashtag us, leaders of GBV schools shows the power of our victims. We work in partnerships with civil society organizations and government to empower our learners or our young people to realize their sexual rights and for them to take role in the prevention of school-related gender-based violence.
Age-appropriate, rights-based education encourages critical thinking about gender, power, and personal rights.
The hashtag Leaders for Gender-Based Violence Facebook post that actually create encouragement.
Our collective efforts are sparking change, fostering environments where learners can thrive, free from violence and empowered with knowledge. Join us on this journey. Together, we can transform the landscape of adolescent health and rights. Empowerment starts with education. Change starts here.
We're looking forward to rolling out this intervention and in partnership with the Department of Basic Education, and also find ways to do other topics and replicate it to other programs. The representative council of learners is one structure that represents the principals and students. It's about time to support external.
Get involved, make a difference. through the hashtag ASIFONI GBV Free Schools program.
Hashtag Asifuni, hashtag Asifuni, hashtag. Coming up will be a panel conversation, and I'll just ask members of our panelists to just come up so that it's set up for us to have a sit down and unpack these issues. And while we're waiting for that, could I get an item from the lovely learners who helped us earlier on? Don't be shy now, all of a sudden. Was it on this side? Round of applause for her, please. Okay, this is Koketo trying to think which lovely song to sing for us. Let's be kind, let's give her a moment.
Can the boys please start Zumpe? Zumpe. Tina siyazalana mama. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yo. Oh Tina siyazalana mama. Oh yeah. Siyazalana mama. Oh yeah. Oh yo. Oh yo.
La 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 la. Ta la 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 la. Inkumbula bazali bam. Oh yo. Tina siyazalana mama. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yo vekezolo mtakama. Tina siyazalana mama. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yo vekezolo mtakama. Askisi, I'm sorry, mama. Askisi, I'm sorry, mama. Abalele se balele. Ungakali ma. Ungakali. Ungakali. Abalele se balele. Ungakali ma. Oh yeah, yeah, ziwololo. Goze thandwa sa eyayingoba mina nawe mina awe siqede iminyanga emasithokoze Toze thandwa sami bathu zongishiya awe siqede iminyanga Ngizwile ukuthi ubebu uyangithanda yo zoleka ngiyasifela ngawe ayabazoleka obazothina abantu bazothina abantu zoleka ngiyasifela ngawe Zaya. Which one is it?
Ndikhokhele bawo Ndikhokhele meli wami Zalomhlaba bawo 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 niyabonga ngoba usanigcinile ndikhokhele bawo
If I sebenzi, there's another one there.
Ndikhokhele meli wami